Alright, hi everybody. So this is just going to be a quick video outlining the differences between Onshape and Inventor. So the two 3D modeling programs that we are starting to switch between. So we've been working in Onshape, that's going to be on the left here. We are going to be working in Inventor and or Fusion, but right now for this one I'm going to show you Inventor. Okay, so usually when you log into Onshape, we have our activity page, okay, where we show maybe what you've made, what other people have opened, and so forth. When you open Inventor, okay, this isn't in a browser, this is from my start menu, right? We see different files we can make, and then you will have a recent documents section down at the bottom. Okay, that recent document section is very similar to the activity page here. Okay, in Onshape, normally to make anything, we need to go to our documents page first. Okay, we would create a document. Okay, and it would ask us to name our document first. Okay, so this is just going to be our test document. Okay, in Inventor, right, it depends on what type of document you'd like to make. Okay, so just like for Onshape where there are tabs, where you can have parts, you can have assemblies, you can have drawings, okay? In Inventor, those are the types of files you would make from the beginning. Instead of making a document that holds all of them, you would make a file for each type. Okay, so we're going to start with a part file. Okay, it pops open our menus at the top, our left-hand column, this browser or features list on the side, our navigation tools, and our view cube on the right. Okay, all just like we have in Onshape. Okay, so these are very similar when you use them, but there are a few differences in the controls that I'd like to show you first. Okay, so to do that, I'd like to show you just a quick cylinder object, well, that I'll make in both Onshape and Inventor, and then show you how to move it all around to make sure you get what you need to know for the most part. Okay, so in Onshape, remember when we make our objects, we have to make a sketch first. Okay, we can choose a plane. I'm going to choose the top. Okay, to make sure that we see it flat, we would choose our view cube, or we'd hit the N key to view normal. Okay, and then since I said we were making a cylinder, we can make a circle. Choose our center. Okay, click again to drop our circle down, and we're going to type 5 and hit enter. Okay, this is the sketch that we're going to start with. We will accept our sketch. Okay, for Inventor though, if we wanted to make that same sketch, we would choose our sketch. It might say start 2D sketch. We'd have to click that again. It'll bring open our planes. Okay, if you notice when you hover over the planes, they don't say top, front, and right. They say XY plane, YZ plane, and XZ plane. Okay, so this plane here was the one we chose for Onshape. So I'm going to choose that one. This automatically flattens it and brings us normal to the plane. So we don't need to choose anything on our view cube to see this flat now. So close to where our options were for Onshape, near our line tools, we see our circle tool. Okay, we can click on the center just like before. But if you notice, this time the text box for typing our value in is already active before we click. Okay, so instead of clicking and then typing, we can just type and hit enter. And I'll zoom out using my scroll wheel. Okay, instead of having a little box to close for a sketch, I can pick finish sketch, and it'll actually bring it back to that angled view. Okay, Onshape, we would need to right click, hit isometric, or click on that corner to get back to our corner view. Okay, if we wanted to extrude, this is fairly similar in both platforms. If we hit extrude, it brings up our menu. We choose our object. Okay, I'm going to leave this at 1 inch, and we're going to accept this. Okay, in Inventor, under our Create panel, we have Extrude, It chooses, if there's just one profile, it'll choose it automatically. Okay, the menu actually popped out all the way over here. So I'll move it over here so you can see. So it has a profile, has the directions just like in Onshape. It has our distance of 1 inch as a default as well. And we're going to accept that. Okay, to move things around, all right, I know in Onshape, if you click your scroll wheel, it pans. That's that hand movement. In Inventor, it's the same. Where if you click your scroll wheel, it'll pan. The pan tool is also right here, so you can click on that tool and move around and click to get rid of it. Okay, in Onshape, if you right click your cursor, okay, that lets you rotate an orbit. Right? In Inventor, when you right click, it's actually a menu, okay, which I'll show you in a moment. So instead of right clicking to orbit, there are a couple options. We can regular click and drag your view cube. Okay, you can click the orbit tool here on the side, though if you notice, your cursor changes depending on where it is. If you click on the inside, you can rotate in every direction all at the same time. If you pull your cursor out to here, it'll only rotate around that axis. If you grab the edge, it'll only rotate through that axis. If you grab this edge, it'll only rotate through that axis. So there are some more precision tools for rotating and orbiting. You can also choose, if my cursor will work, the F4 key on your keyboard. So what I'm doing right now is just pressing F4 and it brings up orbit, and then if I let go of the key, it stops. Okay, so we have a couple options there for rotating your shapes. Okay, for seeing our origin planes, before we have them unhidden by default on Onshape, okay, where we would have to choose our little eyeball visibility to check. Okay, for in Inventor, we have a folder that's called origin, very similar. Okay, if we do that little plus sign next to it, we can see all of our planes and our axes, which is one of the things that I was mentioning, lamenting upon the fact that we didn't see it in Onshape. We can right click on any of these and choose visibility, and they will become active. Okay, for now, that is going to be our quick intro to Inventor compared to Onshape. For the most part, the only other pieces I will show, I guess, before we finish, that again, you do have a search for help and commands. This is search tools. Commands are what the tools are called in Inventor. Okay, so we can search for any of the tools that you need up here. Okay, as a reminder, or as a reminder, Inventor is not web-based, so you do need to save. Okay, if you notice, this never actually asked for a part name for your file, so we do need to go to File, we need to choose Save, and we would change the name to whatever we needed to. I'll talk to you guys more about where to create your files. For the computers we have, we'll be using your student folders. Okay, but we can save, and it'll change the name up at the top here and in our browser. Okay, and final note before I forget is that if you remember, in Onshape there can be multiple parts in the same part studio. That is not the case in Inventor. Okay, in Inventor, when you make new extrusions and new sketches, they are the same part, okay, versus our Onshape, where they could be separate entities if you felt like you needed to. Okay, hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions at all, or if you're having trouble switching over, please let me know, and we will work on it from there. Thanks, guys.